show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Your host, Superman in the house. And are you guys getting excited? I think we've got so much positive news happening. It's just unbelievable, really. There really is a tsunami of epic things happening for crypto. And we've got good news progressing with the Iranian war/conflict. So that's pushing forward too. The markets are rearing up to go. So yeah, we're going to get into all of that today. We've got a big show. I hope you guys are enjoying it. We're going to have a huge show today. Going to watch a couple of the crypto leaders' opinions as well on video. So that's coming up as well. But we're going to quickly cover the stock market results. Then, of course, cover the geopolitical news very briefly, because we've got a lot to talk about with crypto. So we're going to get into a lot of stuff around Bitcoin and Ethereum and Pulsechain. We've got a lot to talk about there. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Let's get into it. We've got Sean in house there. Good morning. Up only Chads. Absolutely, Sean. You're 100% on the money there. And we got John there, all in Hex. Yeah, Hex starting to really move too. And off the bottom, remember that. So it's still massive volumes to pick up at this stage. So we're obviously after multi-day rallies and maybe start that big recovery and turn towards an uptrend on Pulsechain. We're going to look at the Pulsechain chart today and discuss that too. So really want your thoughts. If you've got some opinions on that are constructive, get them in the chat as well. Very cool. Now we're streaming on, of course, 3 YouTube channels: Superman Crypto, the Crypto Night Show, and Pulsechain X. So smash the subscribe button. Only takes a second to do. It's free as well. And hit the bell for further videos. If you're on X, of course, don't forget to scroll at the top and smash the follow button and hit repost on the show as well. Get the show sharing out there. The largest Pulsechain influencer channel doing daily shows. Sometimes we do 2 shows a day, and we're up to pretty good regular times. We'll take a day off here and there, but that's kind of where we are right now. The bull market is ahead of us. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm going to talk a little bit about the bearish scenario. There's still, out there. I mean, there's still a chance of that. Ben Cohen, for example, I think has 75% chance still of a bear scenario. I'm not in that camp because I think institutions are changing the game, right? So I think that's where I'm at. So we're going to look at Raoul Paul, which is probably the better headspace that I'm in around the bull scenario. So we're going to get into a bit of that too. Should be a lot of fun. Hey, we've got Line Wings in the house there. Hey, great to see you as always. Hello, Superman. Hello, indeed. Always wonderful to see you in the house. Formerly Summer, wasn't it? Formerly Summer, I think it was the name there from Line Wings. Big shout out. All right, so let's get into it without further ado and get into the show. So let's see how the stock market went. Another good day in the office. Generally speaking, it was. We got the Dow Jones there down a 0.15%, 72 points to 48,463. So that's all the industrials, right? Top 30 industrials. But the tech stocks are doing quite well. S&P 500 up 0.8%, up 55 points. In fact, it's funny. It's 55.55 points. So there we go. At 7,022 is on the old S&P 500, which is pretty awesome. So we're back over 7,000. That's probably the big takeaway there. And you can see we're back up to the previous all-time highs. So the war has been wiped out. It's been washed away. Trump magic. There we go. So we got the NASDAQ at the moment up 1.6%. 1.6% at 376 points, up to 24,000. So we're back over 24,000 as well. So stock market's recovering really well. Look at that. We're up to all-time highs on it. Look at that. All the way back to October last year. There we go. So what an opportunity. We went all the way down, can you believe it, from 24,000 down to just under 21,000. So 4,000 point difference has been wiped off and then reclaimed. So there we go. So well done if you picked up, some of those leading stocks. We've got the VIX is down below, just above 18. So that's really come down a lot. And that's a key measure, right? So we saw it get over 30 for the worst of the Iran war, essentially in the first week or two, and a couple other little blips. And we're now back down at 18, not at full-on bullish times, down as low as 13, but certainly looking pretty good at 18. And the US dollar there is slightly down at 97.83. So the US dollar there is really heading towards the bottom zone. So risk on is back in, guys. Risk on is back in to the markets. Let's go to commodities. West Texas oil price still elevated, but coming down. Down slightly today, 0.1%, $91.22 for West Texas, $94.85 for Brent oil. And of course, we're expecting that to come back down probably to around $60 is probably where we might reasonably expect it. Obviously, there's going to be a few other changes as well, but I suggest to you that we get this peace deal and it's coming down pretty severe, pretty violently, and that will, will have a some sort of shock. But I think it's going to be dampened down by the fact that the US is spending so much on military and also spending so much or earning so much on the oil and gas exports. So I think we're going to see some interesting things around inflation there. I think we'll have a modest inflation spike. It's kind of where I think we'll go. Nothing severe. Now, non-US countries, some of those will definitely have some inflationary spikes and things like that. But the US is a net exporter, so a little blip in the matrix there for let's say 4 to 6 weeks, something like that. But I think it's going to be relatively modest for the United States. We've got the gold there at the moment up at 30% for $4,840, and we've got silver back over 80, almost up 1%. So some good moves there for gold and silver, getting a bit of the love as well. So that's pretty much it at the moment. One of the big things that we saw was President Trump there has been, obviously the blockade is in full effect. I think they've turned back like 10 something ships, 10 maybe more ships of the Iranians. And so that blockade is locked down. Locked down is the old blockade. Master move, because it's a move that doesn't take any more violence to try and get the Iranian regime, what's left of it, to a deal where they're going to get rid of their nuclear weapon plans. Because these guys are terrorists. They're extremists. They were always going to get nuclear bombs and use terrorist tactics to distribute them and blow up U.S. cities, Israeli cities, other cities. These guys were crazies, and a lot of them are dead now, but there's still plenty down the further ranks that probably still hold that passion. Remember, there's about 90 million people in Iran. It's a huge country. It's a mostly Persian, not Arab. And so you got 89% of the country against the regime. Got about 10%, maybe 15% tops that are supportive of the regime. You've all got the tribes and everything else that's going on there. But things are starting to break down. We're sort of seeing some of the resistance movement is starting to kill some of the leaders. So the ones that the Americans and the Israelis haven't got to, the resistance movement in Iran is starting to do that too. Now, remember in 1979, the Iranians were like a modern Western society. They had all the freedoms, and of course, the Persian history has had a great contribution to mathematics and science and other things like that, and empires. And so, they want to get back to that. They want to get back to freedom rather than this, 7th century medieval, primitive Islamic jihadi type environment. So it is going to be a bit of a battle. Even if they make a deal, we could see the regime fall over time. So we're going to watch that. It is got a lot of military, so I don't want to, mislead with the IRGC. But we may see, city by city fall or something like that. Areas like that could be happening in time. So something worth to watch. Also, Trump, they're doing deals with China to say don't send them any weapons. These ground to air missiles that you can just hold there, because obviously that would cause the Americans some trouble. But actually, making deals will open up the Strait of Hormuz and in good time, and you'll have all your oil, because obviously China is the big user there, along with India, Japan, and Europe, right? So US not really affected too much by the Strait of Hormuz there. Trump said it was very possible to Sky News in the UK that a permanent ceasefire agreement with Iran could be reached prior to the visit of King Charles later this month. Talking about an Islamic king, and King Charles is going to be going to the White House there from the looks of it. So there we go. That is where we are right now with the old market. So generally good news overall. It looks like they're progressing to some sort of deal, which is exciting to see. We got Craig Pick, in the house. Morning all. Good to see you, Craig. We got DG and Hexkin as well, the 5555. Yeah, that's pretty funny, wasn't it, back there? And we got DG in the house there. Never second guess Trump. Yeah. Trump keeps outplaying the liberals and the progressives, and they're just still stupid, still stupid there. All right, so that's kind of where we are on the old Wall Street markets. Now we got the Fed meeting coming up, right? We're expecting a no change for that, so that's something we have to wait for until probably July. We got 1 week, just under 2 weeks basically for that until the 29th of April. No change expected in the market. June, no change as well. And then when we get a new chair, July, we got 9.6% expecting a 25 basis point cut. Now, we already saw the inflation numbers come in below expectations. That was generally good news as well. We're seeing really incredible employment numbers. I suggest to you that we're going to get some pretty exciting GDP numbers in the US, regardless of the Iranian war, because they're winning with the military spending. They're winning with the oil money, and they have got tax refunds coming. And of course, it was tax day on the 15th, which I think is just about finished, almost finished there. So that is kind of what we're expecting there. So keep a lookout. We're expecting him to potentially give us a rate cut. We'll see. The chair, whether obviously they'll get the other presidents on board, but that is what we're expecting now. Let's get to crypto, though. Crypto at the moment. Remember that this is going to bode well. If we can get a proper deal with no terrorist regime, with the nuclear bomb, that gives us world peace and safety, more tangible, certainly far more tangible than it was, because that was just a risk that was being put off into the future by the liberals and progressives, and you know what they do. They're basically, stupid. Say that again. All right, so we got the CoinGecko here. We got 2.614 trillion. That's nice. We're starting to move up 0.4%. We're still a very small market on the old crypto. Compared to hundreds of trillions in the debt markets and everything else. We've got Bitcoin right now is up 0.3% on the 24-hour at 74,800. So we're starting to get some nice numbers here. Still some work to do, but we're doing pretty well. And up 5.2% for the week. So that's nice. Ethereum there up 1.1%. So modest increases today at $2,360, up 7.8% for the week though. XRP up 2.3%, $1.40. BNB up 1% at $623. Solana up 1.5% at $85. Tron up at 0.7% at 32.6 cents. And then finally, number 10 is Doge. That is at 1.7% at just under 9.5 cents, I should say. And the best performer over the last week has been Ethereum, up 7.8%. Exciting what's happening with Ethereum. And then Bitcoin, number 2, is up 5.2% and outperforming, percentage-wise, all these other top-tier chains in the majors. So exciting there. And we're going to zoom in on some of those catalysts for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Remember, most liquidity and turnover there coming through Bitcoin and Ethereum. So they're the low-hanging fruit for you, right? They're in your portfolio. They should be the low-hanging fruit because relatively less risk and for a pretty awesome return we're expecting over the next 2, 5, and 10 years. It really is a 10-year a view there. Obviously, we're going to have some cycles in between that, though. So take note of that. You want to take profits on certain price trends there. Let's have a look at the top 100. We got Rave apparently up 3,200%, down 42% today overnight, though. Dex there is number 2, up 58% for the week, 21% today. Siren up 40% for the week, 11% today. WorldCoin there up 18% at 4%. Remember, this is Digital ID there from what's the guy? I forgot his name now. Or forget his name, but I'll try and remember. WorldCoin there up there as well. And then Provenance Blockhash there up at 16.9%. I don't know why he just skipped my mind there. The guy, crazy tech guy. All right, so that is pretty much it on the top 100. We've got top gainers in the 1,000. We've got Bio Protocol up 95%, Playouts up 73%, and Engine Coin up 61% in the top 1,000. Overall trending is RaveDAO, Bio Protocol, and Bitcoin. And they're trending overall. So nice little green day for the old crypto markets. Zooming in on Bitcoin. Bitcoin there looking pretty good. We are staying nicely over the 50-day moving average here on the daily. And we're at 74,700. I mean, it just depends on which one you're looking at. We're looking at Coinbase here. And we had a high 2 days ago of 76,127. But what's the difference is that now we're sitting above this 50-day moving average, and we're getting good news around, potentially an extended peace deal, or at least possibly a peace deal coming out from a Iran conflict. So everything's going quite nicely there. So that is the old Bitcoin. We're also getting a bit of a rounding in the 50-day. If we can cross over the orange, we'll get a golden cross, right? So that's what we're looking for. We had our death cross all the way back here on the 6th of November with the liquidation event back on the 10th of October, right? All the way back here. And of course, we've got an all-time high back here of $126,300. So onwards and upwards from there. Now, next target would, naturally be another bullish target would be 200-day moving average. It's currently at $83,000. So, what's that, about $8,300 above us to get there. And what would it require to move? We need a nice little market maker there, and that would be 11% gain. So it's kind of where we're heading potentially in the short term. We got John in here, Trump for the win, 100%, doing a great job overall around the world. So pretty happy about that. Liberals and progressives will be crying, but we're very happy. Long overdue, decades overdue. And I wish we had that down under, that sort of leadership down under. But unfortunately, we've got progressives wrecking everything all around the rest of the West, and they're actually fighting against Trump. And we knew that was going to happen. There's no surprises there. And Trump is also doing his own countermeasures. So it's a battle between the globalist Marxists and the common sense, freedom-loving people. So there we are. That's the battle right now. All right, so let's jump into Michael Saylor. Obviously, we've had I think there's some structural differences happening. So far, we've come down about 52, 53% down to 60K on this pullback. Some people still think that we're going to have, more like Ben Cohen, for example, thinks a 75% chance we're still going to have a lower low. And so if we go to the power law, that'd be about 53K. But he tends to think between 30 and 50K, which I just don't see happening. I think that would be an extreme event for that to happen now. Because we have a change, right? So retail has kind of gone away. Obviously everyone else is here. You guys are here. But retail has essentially gone away at the moment, and institutions are flowing in. And of course, that's a process that's going to happen over probably at least 5 to 7 years, flowing in to crypto, but at an increasing rate, right? So we see all the big banks coming in at an increasing rate. We've got obviously White House leadership. That was the trigger for the next wave. And now we've got ETFs coming in, right? And this is significant because now we've got tens of thousands of Wall Street salespeople selling Bitcoin and Ethereum in particular. And so the ETFs are coming in. And not only are they just on Ethereum, but they're coming into stake as well. And they're also like BlackRock's ETH, they're coming into Ethereum in a big way, and Bitcoin in a big way, right, with Morgan Stanley and others. So it really is starting to change a lot. So we've got ETFs starting. We've already got back, I think in the last about 3 or 4 days ago, we got back to net buying for ETFs this year. And we've got new ETFs that are major that are going to just open up new clients and all that sort of stuff. So that is going to open up, starting to really open up now. And we've got good momentum. The other thing is, of course, we've got this digital asset treasuries. They are buying significant amounts, like unbelievable amounts. And so here, Michael Saylor strategy here, just for the last 2 days of the every month, they go ex-dividend on the 15th. And this time happened to coincide with tax return day as well in the US. And they got within 2 days, first 2 weeks, I should say, of April, they got another 17,600 Bitcoin worth 1.3 billion. And so this is super exciting. A huge amount of buying and giving us structural support. BTC gain is the closest analog to net income on the Bitcoin standard as well. And so this is very, very cool. We can see that. That's kind of like their quasi income, right? Which is pretty exciting. Now, what they've purchased, though, is just in this week alone, I think they've purchased maybe 11, 14, maybe 25,000 Bitcoin just this week. This is ridiculous numbers. These are ridiculous numbers. And so this is where I think the bearish scenario that maybe Ben Cohen has is not going to be realized unless there was some black swan event. I don't know if the market makers are going to even be able to move us down that way otherwise without a big catalyst. And obviously, you've got the shorters and longs and open positions, things like that playing out. But actually, I just think this is so much significant spot buying. And this Bitcoin's not hitting back the market. It's not going back in the market, right? So this is huge. And so I think we're going to probably see, 40 to 50,000 Bitcoin months ahead of us and buying from these. I mean, that's insane. I mean, I think we've got maybe 500,000 to 1 million Bitcoin slushing around. it's running out. Bitcoin's going to run out, and you got this big buyer. So people are now talking about not just hitting 5% or 1%, 5% or 1 million Bitcoin for strategy, which holds all this Bitcoin. I think it's reached pretty close to 800,000. Then it's just going to go up and away, well ahead of tracking to hit that 5% mark for Bitcoin held by strategy, using Stretch to do it by vampiring the debt markets and offering huge interest rate differentials and over collateralization, right? So that's massive there. All right, so that is a pretty exciting stuff. 780,000 Bitcoin. They're already over this, right? So I believe they're when they do the disclosures, they will be pretty much around 800,000 or so. And they have flipped IBIT, right? So they've flipped IBIT, which is credible. Which is IBIT was sitting at 788, I think it was. So I think with recent purchases, when they updates, that will be even ahead of that. But now, obviously, they're making some pretty amazing gains on the old Bitcoin equivalence income. So it's just a beginning. Second month in the bag there. Third month coming up. Now, I think the price of Stretch is at discount. Every time it gets to record date, it discounts from $100 back to about $9.50. I think it's even lower than that at the moment, about $9.22. So obviously, that's quite a cheap place to get Stretch. You kind of get a high yield effectively because you're getting 11.5% plus a discount on the capital price at $100. But that slowly ramps up, and let's see whether it gets to $100 faster this month with momentum. Should do than last month. Instead of taking 10, 12 days or whatever it was, get back and start minting more Bitcoin. MG, watch out for month 3 with the momentum, with the wind behind the sails. Could be absolutely dramatic. So exciting stuff happening there. I think I had one more 2 comments here else as well. What I also want to talk about is the innovation that's happening on top of Stretch, right? So not only have you got companies like APYX, buying Stretch for their products, right? A million shares now, unbelievable, total value of $100 million. Not only have you got those buying, but you've got now tokenization of Stretch. So if you actually want to get it, you maybe in a country you don't have a broker, US broker, you can't get access to sort of buying Stretch that way, then they're now tokenizing it onto the chain, which is all the innovation we like to see. Second, third level innovation, a bit like Titanx with their second, third level protocols. This time they're kind of wrapping up Stretch products, and you can get I think the tokens USDAT on I'm just trying to remember what chain this is on, but you can start to see that opening up there. I'm just trying to think what that's on now, but you're starting to see. You'd like to check it out, but you can start to see these products are getting done. And look, a lot of the guys are pretty young, right? A lot of guys are pretty young, and they are really starting to tokenize these DeFi products on Bitcoin and making it accessible to like Ethereum and other chains. So it's exciting times. It really is an innovation explosion, and some of the stuff that Trump's wanting to tap into with the old crypto markets there. And therefore, because also crypto is a big supporter of Trump, generally speaking, he's also trying to get the Clarity Act through as well as a principal policy there. We've got Crypto MVS in the house there. Good morning, Superman. Great to see Crypto MVS, the editor-in-chief of the Monster Thread and the promotional lead for the Crypto Night shows in the house. So great to see Crypto MVS in the house there. If you are a project team, you want support with promotional activities, want to get in the Monster Thread, then definitely hit up Crypto MVS. DM on Twitter, X, on Telegram, or hit me up as well. So that either way, you'll get some support there if you're a project team. All right, so that is where we are right now. Looking pretty exciting, right? Good stuff happening there as well. Now, okay, so that's the short term. We got massive buying coming in from ETFs. Now net positive for the year. We got massive buying, super net massive buying from Michael Saylor's strategy with the Stretch product, vampiring the debt markets. And now we've also got a bit of a longer term. We have a little longer term now. So we've got the Power Law, right? Power Law, probably the best model tracking Bitcoin's price. And we can see that we are, just above the red line there. And red line there is the support line. And we have I think the middle is about fair value in the middle. There's about $166,000 Bitcoin. So we got to 126,000. It wasn't really that much, that much of a bull market, and I think it's more of a mid market. Right? We always get these mid market rises in the chart, and I think that's kind of what we got. So I still think we're going to get a new high coming up here, and with this institutional buying, it's going to be pretty aggressive. And you guys know retail will come back once the institutions start pushing us to new highs, and they'll just they'll come FOMO back on the top, right? So I think they'll come back again. And we also got some big things happening with Ethereum and the finance coming over to blockchain, and that there is going to include mass adoption via Mr. Beast and X money apps and all sorts of things like that. So I think that's all coming, guys. And you guys are here particularly early, which is lucky for you guys and me. So there we go. So that's exciting there. And so we got here on the 27 here. If we go to 27, we've got the medium at the middle line there at 200,000 by the end of 26, based on this. And top of the range at $700,000 Bitcoin. So I'm not suggesting we'll get there quite there straight away, but that's the top of the power law there. We have touched it a couple of times, but even if we get close, we could end up seeing $500,000 Bitcoin or 450 or something, but definitely 200 looking very reasonable just to get back to the midterm there. Moving to 27, we got up at 280 for the medium there. That's the green line. And then you got as high as 900,000 by 27. I don't see any problem with that at all. I think that the money's starting to flow. Strategy is accumulating Bitcoin. If they're doing 40 to 50,000 a month, let's say, that's going to take it all off the market. There's not a lot of Bitcoin around after that. They're really going to suck out a lot of the stuff there. We also know whales are buying, right, as well. So yeah, it's really all the forces seem to be in one direction, and supply over the next 6 years is falling away, right? So especially inflation's falling away. Next 6 years is kind of the key part for inflation. We've got halving in two years. The emission for the going from 450 for a miner down to 225 Bitcoin per day, and we've already got Michael Saylor buying like 10, 20, 30 times that already. So it's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. All right, so that is where we are right now. Let's jump over to, and then we're going to get the flurry of nation states, which is the other thing, and of course we're looking forward to the White House and maybe whatever budget neutral strategy they do to accumulate Bitcoin too. So we're going to keep a lookout for that coming up. All right, so that is power law. So we're looking a bit further there. Now I want to look at Raoul Pal. Obviously, he's always talked about the pretty much the hockey stick there. So we got the 4 year cycle is now a 5 year cycle. Bitcoin should peak in 2026. So this is his point of view. We're going to listen to this. It's about 2 minutes long. So hope you enjoy that.
Why is Bitcoin sort of not wildly off to the races yet? And it's this chart. Bitcoin is basically, this is a detrended Bitcoin, and it's basically the ISM, which is the business cycle. Remember, we've always said it's the business cycle stupid. It is always the business cycle stupid. And all of these people who claim it's the 4 year cycle based around this and that, they don't understand the fundamental of what the business cycle is, why there's a 4 year cycle in everything. And we've explained it, and we'll go through it in great detail tomorrow in our Everything Code presentation. But basically, it's following the ISM. And rates have been following the same pattern. You see, rates should have come lower. They need to come lower because we need to roll the debt. We've talked about this. That's part of the Everything Code, fundamental part. And ISM, because rates are so high, has meant that Main Street has been screwed while Wall Street's made money from debasement. Earnings versus scarce assets. This is the issue that they need to solve, and they need to get rates lower. They get rates lower. Why? Why do we have an elongated business cycle that looks like virtually no other real other time? It's because, and I only just found this out redoing the work on the Everything Code recently, is that in 2021-22, they actually extended the maturity of the debt from 4 years to 5 years. So that extension of the maturity of debt has pushed out the business cycle a year. The 4 year cycle this time around is a 5 year cycle. We don't know what the next one will be until we see where they all end up getting refinanced, whether it comes back to 4 because they managed to get some stuff at the long end, or whether they shorten it because everything's in the short end. We don't know yet, but this one is a 5 year cycle. And this is what it looks like. A 5.4 year sine curve. 5.4 years is the exact average weighted maturity of the debt. And it tells us the ISM should peak by 2026. We think liquidity probably peaks before that, as the rate of change of ISM changes and the rate of change of liquidity changes. Our best guess remains well into 2026, probably Q2.
So there we go. So he's pretty bullish about the year ahead, 26. I would argue also based on this chart into the beginning of 27. And we've just seen the ICM with the business cycle there. Just 2 years down the bottom there, you can see in the chart. And now we are starting to see probably it start to rise. We're at 3 months, even with a slightly modest last month, but we're starting to see that ramp up. July, of course, we should get an interest rate cut. Fingers crossed. And that starts to really spur the markets to the upside because obviously the US public debt is huge. I think it was about 37 trillion or so. That needs to we got a part of that being refixed. So that's what he's talking about there. So very exciting, guys. I'm very excited for the time ahead, and I'm expecting high growth rates as well. And we've seen already early clues of that. So kind of cool. Let's see where that leads. The other one, of course, is if we're going to look even further afield. So we kind of looked at the power curve there, power law. We've looked at Raoul Paul's expectation with the business cycle. And now we're going to go further afield. Now we're going to really look well into the future, 10, 20, 30 years in the future here. With Michael Saylor. And of course, remember, now he's got these vampire in the debt market with the stretch product, and things are really on the move here. So let's listen to his point of view.
We'll just keep buying, right? The price is going to go up. It's going to get exponentially harder, and the price is going to go up exponentially higher, and we'll just keep buying. And at some point, if we get to 5% of the supply, Bitcoin's probably going to be $1 million a coin. And if we get to 7.5% of the supply, Bitcoin will be 10 million a coin. And then if I'm lucky enough to grind to 10% of the supply, Bitcoin's going to be 50 million a coin. And someone will be whining that whatever, we have too much Bitcoin, but other people will have $400 trillion of wealth, So our view is it's a ratchet. And we're just going to keep cranking on the ratchet, and there's massive leverage here. And I think everybody's winning if we do that.
All right. So, we've got a small little market, total crypto around about 2.6 trillion right now. He's talking about for Bitcoin alone up to 400 trillion. We've got a long way to go. Pretty exciting. Obviously, the first target would be gold around 40 trillion. And so that's kind of where we're heading for at the moment, 15x or so. And then well beyond that, as they just keep buying and buying and buying, and vampiring not only the debt markets, but also equity markets start to move more and more into crypto, particularly via the ETFs and via Ethereum through tokenization, and of course the stablecoin boom, and of course AI boom as well. So that's exciting stuff happening here. We're right at the beginning phase of this, guys. It is super, super awesome. And I just want to reiterate something I've said the last couple of days. AI is going to cause a lot of disruption. It already has. We've already seen, major companies start to lay off people because it can replace a lot of professional roles, in particular, accountancy, law, heaps of stuff. I mean, it really is crazy. And it could kill, 90% of those markets, and you're only left with the very best of the best still in a job. So there's a lot of that stuff happening with the white collar. The blue collar, of course, also getting affected big time. And of course, we're looking at humanoid robots about to come into the play as well, probably from the end of this year to next year. You're going to have your first mass productions really taking off. We're talking about million unit productions. And of course, using humanoid robots that actually have much of the hand movements than humans do. Optimus 3 coming out, it's going to have 21 out of the 27 hand movements. We're getting very close to being able to mimic humans in terms of productivity. And so that's going to really dramatically impact the blue collars as well. So we've got a lot of big changes happening. And, it's great. I mean, crypto's looking for the takeoff. If employment and wages are going to be under pressure from these new inventions in the intelligence age, then crypto is going to be your offset, right? Crypto is going to be your saving grace because you're here at the right time. Eventually, crypto will get saturated, but that may be 10 years out. But of course, the low base now is your best entry, right? It's always your best entry. So exciting stuff here. Tell your friends if you want your friends to if they're facing competition from AI and from humanoid robots in the future, then that is the play, right? Also, humanoid robots should all things equal, shut down mass immigration, right? Some of the bad arguments that are used for mass immigration, even those should be shut down, right? So, but there's a lot of stupid people and progressives, so I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that's also the play, because human or robots will be able to do all the different type of work, right? So pretty much it. All right, so let's jump over to Ethereum. So we talked about the debt market's been vampired and Bitcoin pumping up. We got equity also flowing through, but we also got the Ethereum story, right? Which is finance, and we've got also holding over the 50-day moving average, currently at $2,189. The 200-day moving average in orange is all the way up at $2,658. We're sitting very nicely now over the 50-day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days now, and we've got very positive news coming with the Iran progress at the moment. Still tentative, but certainly heading in the right direction there. We're at $2,355, and really we haven't broken out full on to a new level. We have broken out this bottom range so far with a low of 1742. Tom DeMark had 1790, and we are back up here. And of course, what's holding us up here? We already got down to 65% correction. And of course, no sort of 75, 85, 95%. And we've got structural change, I would argue. So that's my argument, is that the institutional investment through ETFs, through digital asset treasuries, and of course, leadership from the US government moving into crypto as a champion of crypto is moving forward with the final seal of approval being the Clarity Act, right? That's kind of the last play. Hopefully we'll get that through in May. Really is a very key deadline for that. And then we've got market catalysts like the business cycle and interest rates, right? So all those things flowing in the next couple of months in July. So you can sort of see the flow in here fueling all this stuff here, as well as monetary expansion, which is already in play with the M2 supply. So here we are, $2,356. We've got a nice target there of 2,700 up to the 200-day. Obviously, we've also got a similar story, and that's a 12.5% move. That's nothing in crypto, as you guys know. And so we could see some green candles. Now, obviously, we've had this death cross since the 24th of November, about 8 days after the Bitcoin one. And we've had the liquidation event on the 10th of October, and down we came, right? And we had that high back here on the 24th of August last year of essentially $4,955. And so we are looking to really trying to break that 5K and get a move on, right? So everything is looking pretty good at the moment. And let's see if we can get back over here. And this yellow line, 50-day, moving up towards the 200 is heading towards a golden cross. So, we've got both Bitcoin and Ethereum looking pretty good for golden cross. And I'm expecting this to do pretty well. Obviously, actually outperform Bitcoin because of the move of finance over as well. So we've got Tom Lee. This is his latest presentation. There's a little clip from Paris, the blockchain week there. And so we're going to quickly play this little video clip here as well. I'm going to jump between sections here because I only want to cover the price part. But let's have a look at this one here.
And here's something to keep in mind. One, since the war started, the best performing asset in the world, outperforming energy stocks, is Ethereum. It's outperformed the S&P by almost 20 percentage points. And you can see it's massively outperformed gold and silver. And if you take a look at Ethereum's chart over the last 10 years, I think it's going through a major consolidation, a massive consolidation. And how did these other consolidations get resolved? Well, in the first consolidation, Ethereum went on to rise by 220 times. And then the consolidation that ended in 2019, Ethereum rose by 50x. So I think there is a massive move coming in Ethereum, driven by a couple of things. One is tokenization, and the second is agentic AI. So I'm going to have to go through these pretty quickly, but I think that this means you can get something like a 25x for Ethereum. So I've talked a lot about tokenization.
So this is the thing about that, a 25x in Ethereum is this next kind of reasonable price ascension there through tokenization and obviously agentic AI, which we'll talk about. So, things like AI to AI payment systems, they don't have an identity or a tax number or anything like that, but they can have an Ethereum account and then an AI agent can play another AI agent, and you can have them set up to do to replace whole professions, to do like an accounting process, maybe a balance sheet, profit loss for companies and things like that. There's lots of innovation that you can do around AI agents, automating existing and creating new products and offerings there, which we're seeing. And this whole company is set up to try and do that, to try and make tons of AIs, sell them on the market, sell them to small to medium businesses, sell them to large businesses, all that innovation, and basically replace all the labor and increase productivity as well. So you can see how the cost will go down, productivity goes through the roof, and that's something that's going to play out over years ahead. And then you're going to add in humanoid robots, probably, if not from the end of this year, next year. And it's a completely another revolution here because of the convergence of technologies that we've got around computer processing power, AI software, and robotics. So you can see how it's all playing out, as well as battery. Right, battery is very key. Obviously, energy is always the key to a lot of modern technology there. So kind of cool. Let's jump over to the next part. I'm just going to jump to the end. You can watch the whole. Go search for it out. There's the Paris Blockchain Week. But let's watch the forward-looking price view as well. So 25x there, looking for that. And one of the key parts, he isolated the fact that we've been such a long consolidation for Ethereum, and that's why I think Ethereum is going to be so explosive. And Tom Lee is passionate and has got all the skills to bring over finance to Ethereum and basically the new monetary system in many ways. So very excited there. It's superior in so many ways to the traditional markets, obviously.
Crypto comes into play. And what all this means in our view is that blockchains should gain relevance against crypto's store of value, which is Bitcoin. And so in our minds, the way to think about the future of Ethereum is its price ratio to Bitcoin. Now, the 8-year average is 0.0479. The high was 0.087. And what does that mean for the price of Ethereum? Well, we think fair value for Bitcoin is 250,000. And so if Ethereum goes back to the 8-year average, that's 12,000. If Ethereum goes back to its 2021 high of the price ratio, that's 22,000 Ethereum. Of course, I think it's better positioned today than it was in 2021. And so that gets us to what we think is the payment rails number, that Ethereum is going to be roughly a quarter of the value of Bitcoin, and that gets you to 62,000. And that's kind of following the previous historical price cycles, that if you look at the last crypto lows and make a composite of where Ethereum could be in roughly 3 years, that would be a 30x, and that would take us to around 60,000.
So there we go. So pretty, bullish outlook there with Ethereum moving to 60K. And we know that a lot of the liquidity is coming into Bitcoin and Ethereum. We got a lot of the new monetary systems coming over. We talked about that, stable coins, tokenization, RWA, agent-to-agent payments, creative payments as well coming over. So a lot of payment rails coming. And of course, blockchain generally superior to traditional markets, Swift and other things like that. So a lot of things happening. We already see a lot of the traditional players now either partnering with a lot of the crypto players, particularly centralized exchange players, etc., and things like that. So Robinhoods, the Coinbases of the world, and we've got this battle going on between some traditional banks that are trying to take some of their stuff. You got other players trying to make partnerships to do the deal, and then you got the traditional crypto players trying to vampire the banking and getting banking registered with the SEC. So we've got a lot of competition and jockeying positions going on because everyone sees this transfer over to the blockchain and all these mega themes. Pretty exciting. So that's kind of all the cool stuff there. And Ethereum should be the king player there. Out of the majors, should be the winner. We already see stablecoins winning on that, tokenization winning on there, and AI agents also starting to really ramp up there. Pretty exciting. All right, so that is the play on that. That's our crypto coverage. We're going to get into Pulsechain now. So if you haven't managed to repost the show on X, take a minute just to hit the repost button. It really helps a lot. And we're going to deep dive into Pulsechain, which is also having a really good rally today. And we're excited about where Pulsechain is going to be going as well. Pulsechain, of course, a full system state fork of Ethereum. So it's battle tested, right? So that's one of the big reasons why institutions will go to Ethereum, because unlike a lot of other chains which have had stops and starts and lots of issues, Ethereum has been pretty robust. This is Pulsechain as well, based on the same technology, and only taking the upgrades that it feels like will add to the chain and not have risks. So it's kind of cool. It's very free upgradables from Ethereum, right? So free upgradables. Pulsechain got a lot of cool things from that point of view. It's got different tokenomics as well, of course. EIP 1559 on Pulse, with 25% less emissions. And so pretty awesome stuff happening there. Some maths I've seen has it deflationary actually for Pulse, not inflationary at the moment. Obviously for validators it's been fairly unprofitable, but they're doing a great public service at the moment. But if we do get a rally on, they'll all pretty happy with all the Pulse bags they've got as well. We got Pulse at the moment on day 1070 since the 30th of May 2023. And we've got Pulse here at 50,888. So lucky Chinese number there. Also the number of God. We got 10.4% at the moment up on the old Pulse, but still dramatically below the mean sacrifice price at 0.09x SAC. So there we go. Fantastic buying still at the moment, even though we've had a nice little bounce day here. Pulsex at the moment is at 50692, up almost 12%. Also super cheap still, even with the 12% bounce. And we're at the buy and burn sitting at about 8.85% based on GoPulse numbers. Pulsechain stat numbers, of course, higher, I think about 9.2%. Ink token having a nice day in the office too, up 9%, up 41 cents at 41 cents. Hex at the moment is the best performer of the day, up 12.5%. P-Hex, or Hex on Pulsechain, at just over 1,600th of a penny. But E-Hex has had a really good day too over the last 2 days, and that is at 0.0076. The ratio for 1 PX to EX is 2.16. Let's go to the gas prices. We got to 1 million beats, so we're much more elevated. That's a good sign because that means there's, I guess, more activity. So we're at 1 million beats rather than 600,000. We're at 0.3 of a penny at the moment. Validators, we got 50,370, so we're down a little bit there. I think maybe down about 90 validators. And let's look at the bridge. The bridge at the moment at 72.8 million. So we got back over 70 million, and now we're really starting to move a bit. So that's great. Obviously, we've got ETH and Bitcoin moving up in price. And so that's pretty awesome. We've got a lot of stable coins sitting idle on the chain. You speculate who all the stable coins are and why they're sitting there all this time. That is a good question. But they're there as well. What else? We've got, let's look at the Pulse chart as well. So we're going to look at the full Pulse, obviously up almost 10% today. This is the weekly chart, and we can see since Pulsechain launched, it has been a mega downtrend, and people have watched their portfolios filter away, as we've seen, some of the big contracts that got forked over, Balancer, Compound, etc., Maker, a lot of issues around those. Now, Oracle, of course, came with them, and we've seen a lot of manipulations and all sorts of stuff, and of course, draining out of the chain, right? We also have had a lot of bot activity since the beginning of Pulsechain as well. It's sucked a lot of value out too. And we've obviously had sacrifice whales, particularly some argue the hex skins, of course, which had a much more favorable hex value, being able to get a lower sacrifice rate ultimately, effectively. And so we had a lot of those guys sell out and leave, right? A lot of them may have gone into Ethereum or other things like that. So we've had a lot of black swan events and all this sort of stuff play out of the chain. When will we find the bottom? When is the bottom? Are we pretty close? Is it in now? That's the question, right? So looking on the weekly here, we've had a lot of red weeks. We have now had 2 green weeks right now. Is the bottom in, right? So I think that we really want to get to a mark where we're over, lose a zero again, and we're up to four zeros, 1,700. We really want to get over that, and we want to start minting some new higher highs, right? So we want to get over that. So we've got quite a bit of work. This was also a support zone back in March 25. So we've got a bit of work to do there, I think, to get up to that. Now, in the short term, we've got 4 zeros, 1,200, and then 1,700. So we really want to get over that one. So we want to get over the 1,200 mark there, 4 zeros, and start, zigzagging for an uptrend. And then everyone, that sort of feeds on itself, just like we fed down on the downside. Hopefully we got rid of all these problems that we had and then we can feed to the upside. Now, every time we go to a new high, we've got to get rid of the guys that got super low and are willing to sell out at a 2x or 3x. So you got to still get rid of those guys and then parabolic yourself up, right? So, and we need some market makers to help us do that. So that's kind of the play there. So yeah, 1200 is the next target, and we want to get over that and start zigging towards that 1700 mark and start zigzagging, in my opinion. So this is my opinion there. And the RSI is right on the bottom, so we've got a lot of room to move. So the RSI is our friend. That's on the weekly there. Let's go to the daily. Daily, we're a little elevated at the moment, so we could go a little bit higher. So we're just going to have to wait for a bit more consolidation there and just cool off. Maybe come down to 50, keep tapping up and down there on the RSI. So we'll keep a lookout for that. But in terms of the 21, we're above the 21, bullish sign, right, on the daily. And we're just targeting this 50-day moving average right now at the 888 mark. So this bodes really well. We've still got room to move in the RSI to start tackling this 1200 mark, right, which we talked about. It's the first one we've got to kind of break is the 1200. Arguably, breaking the 82 is supportive, but really I feel like if we're really going to start running away, we want to start breaking that 1200 mark. So 4 zeros, losing a 0 to 4 zeros, 1200. So at the moment, we've got 5 zeros, 8888, so which is a lucky number. So let's see where we go from there. And we're above these key marks. So kind of looking good. What we want to do is break above this 888 mark and on the 50-day. And, of course, come back, potentially retest it, cool that RSI off, and then move higher, right? Starting to move up to tackle that 1200 mark is the next play. That's my short-term view there. Let's jump over to the Pulsechain and have a look at the top leaders right now. Now, obviously, this is a top 100 trending on Pulsechain, so you do your own due diligence, not financial advice. I go through this all the time. Sometimes we have new tokens launched. Sometimes they are scams. As I understand, the Yay is the scam token. It's up 700%, so that's scam. So we're not going to really look too much at that. CryptoSolve and other people do, point out some of these scam tokens. We've got world's greatest PDI printer from OG WebChef is up again, 65%. So we had a nice little movement here. Obviously, they can sort of turn on the afterburners there with a little bit of volume. 60K liquidity, so they can put the afterburner on. They got about 29 volume versus 60K liquidity. So afterburners there on for the old PDI printer from OG WebChef. We got G Baby, been around for over a year. That's up 41%. We got ATROPA there from James Maria. Funnily enough, when we were on the show yesterday with Fat Sammy and the Pulse Bitcoin team or supporters, we saw we were talking about a bit about James Maria and his tokens were dominating yesterday, dominating again today. So ATROPA up 32% there as well versus DAI. So looking pretty good. What else? We've got BFF. I think there's another OG WebChef that's up 29%. Then we got the Pulse guy tied into the PCOCK ecosystem. They're doing a whole ton of, DeFi as well. They're up 30% right now, looking pretty good. And then we got Teddy Bear, or the big meme coin from James Maria. So another James Maria there, up 29%, and against all these other peers, Treasury, etc. So the bear is doing well. In fact, let's look at the Pulse pair here. Let's have a look, see how that's going on versus Pulse. A nice little pump there on the weekly candles. The daily, 2 good days in the office, and you can see the volume coming in and pushing this up pretty high as well. And if we look at the Pulse ratio on the old bear, and this was been a good performing, meme coin. You can see it back here. It had a big rise in the first couple of weeks. Look at that; those are weekly candles, and it had a massive rise. And of course, everyone was talking about it. Had a big sell-off, and then actually had a nice another little pump, and it kind of been sitting in this volatility area, but getting pumped up today and moving up towards key areas here. Not an all-time high, but certainly looking pretty good. 0.008,200 at the moment, so not bad. There for the old Teddy Bear. Reserve Tay as well, more James Maria, as I understand it. This is up 26%. We also have the UXD, the USDX or XUSD team. They're also tied into a lot of this stuff, right? Up 25%. We got A1A. Sounds like a rap song, token A1A. A1A, I guess you could make a rap song. 22%. We got Most Token, one of our top meme coins, up 21% right now at number 19. So we've got lots of double digits today, which is kind of cool. Cool to see that. Now, one thing I didn't mention is look at the volume today, guys. 7.5 million. It's been a while since we've had 7.5 million in volume. That's awesome, right? Doesn't include the balance of forks as well. Probably elevated as well at the moment. And then we got 554,000 transactions. So thank goodness for that. That is good news. Great to see that. It's a big departure. We got Fire Whales it's moving up 90% as well at the moment versus the most tokens, because obviously most is up as well, so being dragged up there. Pump Tires DAI is up 17.5%. Now, obviously, PDAI has been on a rally, right? So PDAI has one of the largest communities in Pulsechain, pretty dedicated. They have their own set of influencers that champion it, including Somi. They also always have one of the top 24-hour volumes on Pulsechain. Typically, we have like 6 or 7 projects that have over 100K. Now, though, that's even more. It's probably twice as much, right? Because volume's up. And if we go have a look at Pulse Coin List, we can see sorting by volume that we have Pulsechain at the top there, and then we have PDAI. So PDAI is up a huge amount this week, 107%, 40% there, and is sitting it's jumped, I think, from 1,300th of a penny to 2,300th of a penny, so almost 1/4% back there again. Now, I'm under no delusions about a PDAI to $1 or anything. You'll need a protocol to do that, right? You'll need something to vampire that, and I just don't see any catalyst for that. And I don't see LibertySwap doing that either. LibertySwap can be supportive, but I see them focused on PCOCK as their main coin. They have made that pretty explicit as well in comments. And even their wallet token is going to be a DAO token earning fees, but that's kind of kept in one lane, as it were. PCOCK will be the main beneficiary from the ecosystem expansion. They've made that pretty clear in comments. So, but at the moment, you can see volume has gone through the roof on the old PDAI, normally doing, maybe 150 to 250K. It is now up at 1.25 million. So doing pretty well there as well. Now, their market cap did flip Pulsechain, can you believe it? But of course, it's not really real, right? They're certainly doing extremely well, but it's not really real because obviously the liquidity to market cap is completely different, right? We're talking about completely different ratios there. While it was a cool milestone, no big deal there, no big deal. The other ones, of course, we see with volume, we've got Wrapped ETH, Hex, ProveX, PulseX, but look at all the ones. Wrapped Bitcoin, of course, up nicely too this week, 87%. So you got PDAI and Wrapped Bitcoin up nicely, and that's at $300,000 there as well. EHEX on the move. ATROPA, of course, James and Maria stuff we've just talked about. Beer at 170. PCOCK also elevated 168. So pretty cool there. Treasury Bill and the Grays currency also moving, and then gas money from OG WebChef. So look at all the coins, 16 coins over 100K and 24-hour volume. So that's really fun to see that, isn't it? Really, really cool. So congratulations. Yeah. That was a horn just to wake you guys up, keep you guys awake. So we've got 16 pulls there over 100K using Pulse Coin stats. So pretty cool to see that. And you can see some of the mixture there of protocols. Now, that is Pump Tires DAI. That's also doing pretty well. It's at 00013, having a little pump there on the weekly as well. Scrolling a bit down further, we've got dominance from OG WebChef tied into Flexmas, another OG WebChef one there, up 16%. Finvesta is back up to $1.57, up 15% as well. So OG WebChef making itself represented. And then we've got Liquid Loans here up 15% as well, with Pulse starting to push higher. Remember, a lot of these blue chips like Liquidity Forks will move if Pulsechain moves, and so that's kind of cool. But we have seen Liquid Loans move a little bit there, but Liquidity is still pretty thin. Now, we've also got Pump Tires, the official token. It's up 15%. And, of course, the token launching site, sitting at number 26. We've got Zendog there tied into the PCOCK. That's up 14% right now. Emmett Farm at $1.40. So congratulations, Emmett Farm, offering high yields. Arguably the best, farm leader, I would say, overall, if you looked at all different dimensions, is Kairos. And, we've got True Farm tied into that as well now with True DeFi. And then we've got a lot of innovative farms like Nexian and Functional and others like that out there as well. But $1.40 right now on the old token there. Let's look at the pulse ratio. See how that's going for Emmett Farm. Looking pretty solid at 156,000 pulse per Emmett. And, of course, high APR yield farming there. So big shout out to Kairos on the old Pulsechain. Coming down a bit further, 31, 32, we've got UFO from PTC. They're up 13%, and PTC itself up around 30% on some of these peers. Then we're going to go down a bit further here. Pulse Puppy up 12%. SCADA from Nickel Supply. Innovative Tokenomics on Pulsechain up 12%. And then we've got Doubt Token there up 12% as well at number 45. We've got Zero tied into the Peacock Trust as well. So we've got like the quadfecta, as I call it, along with what do we have up here? We had Zendog, and we got Zero, all doing DeFi, their own DeFi kind of stuff on Pulsechain. Then we get down to some of the Peacock peers. There's the smaller one, up 11%. Vouch, the big validator on Pulsechain. So it looks like we're going to have big three kind of project validators. We've got Vouch, we've got Coin Mafia, and we've got a validator X from PlusX. Those three big public validators. But of course, the Mafia one's a little different because you got to buy the Mafia to get the benefit of the buy and burn from the validators. What else? Let's see. The Mafia itself, we're talking about that. Mafia at $1.24, but 10.9%. So that's obviously had a great run, hasn't it? And of course, Rack and Michelle there putting a few thousand validators behind it. Maybe get up to 5,000. We'll see. He sort of made that mention. I think they were at one or 2,000, and he said, "Oh well, I could do another 3,500 validators." That would give them about 10% of the validator numbers as well. We're at 50,000 validators, so 5,000 validators. That put them there. I think they've already got 1,000 operating, so they'd have to ramp that up by adding Pulse. They will cost them about $300,000 or so a year, I think it is, to run. So it's got to have profitability there. Buying up the Mafia and burning it. I don't think we've seen anything with the VIP list that was supposed to activate on day 90. So I don't know whether he's changed his mind and all that. But here we are at $1.24, and of course, not many tokens in the pool. So obviously that is the value proposition there. So there we go. All right, so that is the Mafia. Keep a lookout for that. What else have we got going here? Peacock. Did I get up to there? Where did I get up to? Mafia here. We got down to Peacock. Yeah. We got Unity in the mix as well. Unity up from Cryptographics up 10.4%. This is tied into PulseX rather than Peacock or something else. And they've got their own pumpamentals going on there, up 10%. We got the Peacock peers in here as a moment, which we're going to talk about. That's up 10% right now, sitting at 1.5 cents. And we got the big launches this month, right? So let's go have a quick look at Peacock. But what I want to say is that Peacock rounds us off here, along with the PDC peer at 10% gain. So we've got 63 coins out of the top 100 that are up over 10%, which is pretty exciting. And if I remember rightly, those are all the ones doing better than Pulse too. So about 2/3 of the coins doing better than Pulse from the looks of it, and up 10% or more. There we go. Before we come to Peacock, let's scroll down and let's see what's not doing so well down the bottom here. Let's see if there's anything that's not in the money. We've got Smog is out 20%, so that's a big down day there. ZKP, which is tied into ProveX, is down 6%, but still holding up pretty well. And volume there, keeping around the minimum for 5K is kind of what your minimum there. And ProveX is down a little bit, just down a tad, only 1%, not much. So there's really not much down except for Smog. Smog really the only loser today, let's say. Maybe a bit of rotation going on or something like that. Maybe one whale selling into something else, There's all sorts of things there. ProveX at the moment sitting at 4070 at 100. So let's have a quick look at that. Obviously, Richard's 5th or 6th coin, depending on how you rank them. 6th coin really. And that is sitting on the 21 daily average at the moment. So it's just sitting there waiting for another decision point, right? Another decision. I've still got the target of 21.93, so that's still in play. Nothing really stopping there as long as we keep around this 21 moving average there. All right, so let's go back out of there and let's have a look up at Peacock, because Peacock's got the big launches this month. We're expecting some pretty heavyweight launches, so let's go check out the old Peacock. Before we do that, let's have a look at the chart as well and see where that's going. So we're going to come back to Peacock in a minute, but let's look at the daily here. So daily looking very good for the Peacock. The wind is in its sails, the market's moving up, pulse chains are rallying, and we've got a lot of bullish stuffs here. So on the 9-day moving average, this pink line has crossed the 21-day. It's about to cross is crossing the 34-day, so just over a month, and the 50-day is up here at 1.428. So it's already crossed that too. So the 9 day is about to cross that. So it's getting very bullish crosses here. And we've obviously got the price up at 1.5 cents. So looking pretty good there. And the RSI got plenty of room to move, 58. Plenty of room to move here, given the launches that are coming up. Looking at the weekly candles, you can kind of see that too. We're looking pretty good above the 21 and also above the 34. The 9 moving average there as well. So looking very good on the old weekly there for PCOCK. Now let's have a look at the bullish stuff that's going to be launching. Let me just scroll this down a little bit there, maybe about there. And we've got a comment in the chat, have we? Diamond Hand in the house. Good to see Diamond Hand. Big shout out, big thumbs up there. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. We're streaming on 3 YouTube channels: the Crypto Night Show, Superman Crypto, and Pulsechain X. And if you're on X, of course, don't forget to scroll up and hit the follow button and repost the show. If you love Pulsechain, love crypto, we're dropping the alpha on this channel. You're not missing much out by watching this channel because we're dropping the alpha there on the main stuff. So pretty cool. Check it out. All right, so Liberty Swap right now. Let's scroll down and see what they've been up to, because these guys are the kraken of Pulsechain, right? So we've obviously got Prevex doing some things. We obviously got James Maria moving some liquidity, OG WebShift moving some liquidity around, pumping those tokens. But of course, we have been getting excited for Liberty Swap, right? Liberty Swap, they're rolling out the Kraken projects on Pulsechain, and it's going to be pretty awesome to see this all roll out this month. So they said we are preparing a new product and need to upgrade our smart contract on base. So they've done that. And I think it was pretty cool. So I'm just reading this now. And then they pushed this out, right? So 7 hours ago, they said we have completed the implementation of the new protocol contract across all networks. The previous contract will be decommissioned. So if you encounter a failed transaction, etc., you need to hard refresh, right? So there we go. And they got some of the hard refresh on Windows, Mac, etc., iPhone. So it's kind of cool. Is this the S product? Yes, this is the S product, the ZKX wallet, and the yield protocol all in one. So they've done the contract upgrades for these big 3 launches expected this month, and exciting times. So this is huge, guys, and it's multi-chain. It's based out of Pulsechain, and PCOCK should get the official beneficiary there, as well as the ZKX wallet and airdrop. We haven't heard much about that, but I'm sure they're going to roll it out once they roll out these 3 big protocols. Amazing work, says Kingsman. All contracts have been updated. New products are ready to be flipped on. 3 products launching this month. So just absolute juggernaut of protocol, just expanding dramatically. So tell us more about the updates. This is for the S product, ZKX wallet, and the yield product all in one. So we're kind of getting a lot of similar comments there. So they are pretty close to rolling this out. They have already done the contract upgrade. So we're getting there. And it's pretty awesome. They also put out a bit of a viral marketing video, what they called a secret, Richard Hart's secret. And of course, it was their video about still twerking. So a bit of a social media excitement. And they were obviously telling, join Pulsechain, come over, and you can do that pretty much through Liberty Swap process there. And they got this little video as well. So kind of cool there on this video. So that is the twerking video they pushed out there. All right, so you can go watch that. I'll post a link to this in the chat there if you guys want to go watch that. And bam, so there we go. That is from Liberty Swap. Let me post that on there. That is the video. Go check it out. It's about 2 minutes long. A bit of fun there about twerking, Richard Hart, etc. Social media loves that stuff. So there we go. Already had 8,000 views. And I might as well repost it myself. There we go. And where we go. Bam, bam. All right, so that's kind of cool. What did I watch is raging there? The flock is strong. Yeah, protocol releases are coming in a few hours. So there we go, folks. So this was 5 hours ago. So it's got to be pretty imminent. The launch of these 3 products, at least one of the 3. They'll probably roll them out in stages. But the underlying contract is done. So pretty awesome. Yeah, and a great onboarding to Pulsechain too. Alpha Baller there, putting that down. He's got a great following as well. A crypto coffee out there as well, pushing that too on Pulsex. So getting excited. Every day about 1 billion Pulsexes burn. That's true. So Liberty Swap getting pretty close, guys, to launching the 3 big products. What will the big S be? Everyone's been asking that. They said something like stable, something stable, I think was their phrase. So, you know, people thinking, is that the liquidity protocol? Well, I've obviously said the yield protocol is separate. So is it a stable coin, or is it something that at least gives support to stable coin? We're going to find out. Now, we know that they want to build up the amount of volume and liquidity on Pulsechain. So we know that's a big deal. And so they've got the yield product coming. We've got the wallet coming as well, mixing in privacy features with a normal wallet. So that's a frontier of DeFi. So these are all really huge projects, AAA projects about to drop. And we've got this big S project that everyone's going to be looking forward to see exactly what that is. So exciting times. We also saw on the Pulse alerts yesterday, which we're going to go to now, Pulse alerts. So let's quickly check that out. Alerts. We saw a large bridge inflow yesterday, right? So let's have a look at that. So the large bridge inflow yesterday, $287,000. I put down a PCOCK secret there, but that was a pretty good day of inflows. And what contributed to that was this 90 ETH that came in, $211,000 worth. And that would be pretty well positioned if they're going to be launching these, yield product or this big S product. And that'd be pretty either for one of those or both of them for liquidity to come in to support those to kick them off, right? And of significant liquidity as well. And so, yeah, PCOCK there responded to that straight away, just tagging themselves into this liquidity coming in. PCOCK, they say. PCOCK there with the old eyebrows. What is happening here, I said, with the PCOCK. And they said accidentally sent 90 ETH to Pulsechain. So there we go, kind of owning that liquidity ahead of these product launches. So presumably that's going to be supportive of either the yield product and or the big S product. So we'll see. We'll see where all that lands. The team loves to be mysterious, which we love. We love that sort of banter. Fat Sammy in there as well. Unfortunately, he's got some fake Buddhist guy there, but apart from that, they're all in the house there. So there we go. All right, so that is some of the cool stuff happening on the old Pulsechain. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. But that is some of the cool things happening there. Liberty Swap about to unleash the triple threat, and these are 3 major product launches coming from Liberty Swap. So we're pretty excited about this. The contracts have been rolled out in the next few hours. So I may have to do another live stream later on. Who knows? We'll see, depending on what they launch and how they launch. But definitely looking set up for today, right? So we're going to check that out as well. Pretty cool. All right, if you haven't just joined a strategy club, QR code's in the video there. You can also find the links in the video description or pinned to the top of X there. Go through the Whoop store, join up and get a link to the Discord and join a strategy club to get all the alpha there. As I'm researching, I post it there. And of course, it's just over $1 to join up, so really great value. And join over 1,000 people in our Discord. Really, really exciting. 1,000 Pulsechain hexagons. They're always celebrating the twerking, apparently. Twerking video there. All right, so there we go. That's exciting. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, follow, and I'll catch you on the next live stream. Take care, everybody. Pulsechain is looking exciting, isn't it? Looking exciting. All right, take care. Bye for now.